Hey everyone, I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Christine Strauss, and this is The Real Deal with Baird Warner, where we cover all things real estate.
For buyers, sellers, renters, investors, and fellow agents. Before we introduce our guest for today, I'm going to take a quick look at the market activity from this past weekend.
So on the list and the sell side, we are seeing inventory on the rise again.
On the buy side, we saw a huge increase in total amount of buyers out looking at homes this weekend. Really good sign for that side of the market.
Absolutely. So today we have Jim Bergeron with us as our very first guest. So thank you, Jim, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Welcome.
So yes, Jim is a fellow Baird Warner agent. He has been in the industry for over 5 years and recently joined our management team. So again, thanks, Jim, for being with us. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Jim, I think it's safe to say that one of the biggest shifts we've been seeing over the past few months revolves around COVID-19. So we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the impact of COVID-19 on the market. So in your experience and opinion, how has this disease affected the real estate market?
It definitely has affected the market, especially in the month of May. We saw a huge decrease in showings, contracts, everything across the board. But one of the good things is, we're seeing a bounce back very, very quickly. All right, we're already looking as a company in June for Baird Warner having a record month over last year's sales. So
that's awesome.
We're seeing things come back. What it made us do is pivot and really make a lot of changes as to how we are doing business in today's day and age.
Sure.
Absolutely. And so when you talk about how we're allowed to do business, especially with everything going on right now, can you share some insight onto maybe things buyers and sellers, what are we allowed to do, what's not allowed, all those precautions that are being taken to make sure everyone's staying safe?
It's really comes down to following a lot of the federal guidelines.
Sure.
And it's also listening to our clients. It's a personal decision, right? So you can't make it an assessment like COVID may be important to you or not important to you, but it's only important to what the client thinks, right?
Right.
So we have just as many clients out there that said, you know what, put my house on temporary no show. I don't want people in and out, whatever. Great,
Right.
God bless, and we're supporting that decision. You've got other buyers and sellers saying, no, I need to buy a home right now. Let's go.
Right.
So figuring out how to do that safely. One of the big things that we're having a lot of luck is virtual showings, where you can actually set up where the seller leaves the home, but all the lights are on, all the doors are open to the closets, et cetera, et cetera. The buyer's agent comes in with the mask and the gloves, but doesn't touch anything but the front door.
Right.
And then with FaceTime or whatever equivalent, they're literally touring the house, interactively answering the question of their clients, but the only person in the house is the agent, right? So there's a lot of different things that we can do to still get that inventory sold, but do it in a safe manner that's good for our clients.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Extremely beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I'm a seller and I'm looking to get my home on the market, what other kinds of strategies or tools are out there for me right now?
Well, one of the big things is virtual open houses. That's another thing that we've had a great deal of success with. And again, Baird Warner was kind of a leader in that. The MLS didn't allow it for a while, and we were kind of pushing them, and now the MLS does allow them. But it's where you're actually scheduling on FaceTime, Facebook Live, the ability to do an interactive showing of that home. So you're literally watching the chat as you go, and you're answering questions interactively. We're getting huge responses on those, where you can get, at a great open house, you might have gotten 10 to 12 people there. We're having some of these virtual open houses get 600-700 views.
Holy cow.
Wow.
So, some of this change that's been necessitated out of just the craziness that we're in right now is actually to the better, because we're getting much more exposure for those properties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. And so with that too, I know a lot of that is focused on the sell side. The open houses is great. Of course, buyers are potentially coming through or seeing those virtually. What about on just strictly the buy side, with how things have shifted, how the market is changing? What are some tips or strategies, and how are we seeing that on the buy side?
Well, I think buyers really have to get it in their head that if they're interested and they're going to get in the market, they need to get ready. Okay.
Right.
And we've seen an acceleration. We look at a lot of statistics across databases, and the buyers have actually accelerated their buying process. Most people will start kind of looking on their online apps, infrequently and it gets more frequently, but it could take 6 to 9 months before they're really ready to go.
Sure.
Those same people have been sitting at home for 6-8 weeks with nothing to do.
Right, yeah,
So
dreaming about it. Yeah.
They're ready, right?
Right.
But the big thing is just because they're ready mentally, they have to also get ready physically. They
Sure.
need to get that pre-approval. They need to talk to that great mortgage person.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have the great agent lined up. Because when they do find that house that they love, they're going quick, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have 2 or 3 days to get your financing in order.
Right.
And you need to have that pre-approval order right there, that letter ready to go, so you're making the offer right then and there.
Very true. Yeah, amazing tips and really good things to keep in mind. Mm-hmm.
So obviously everything has kind of been up in the air these last few months, and we're not out of the woods yet. But once the dust settles and we have a vaccine and everything is going back to normal, what kind of changes do you expect in the real estate industry to come out of this?
I think as a company, we've been saying it now for 3 or 4 weeks that there is going to be a new normal, right? It's almost over that. What technology was supposed to do for us in the workplace that we've talked about for the last 3 to 5 years was forced upon us. I mean, I know our company alone bought hundreds of laptops and put administrative and marketing people to work out of their homes and everything. And you've got companies all across the country saying, wow, we don't need to have our work staff in an expensive office space. I have a client right now that I was working with, and they were having a really hard time finding what they wanted in the burbs because he worked in the city and his commute was pretty long. He now only has to go into the city 1 day a month. They've said permanently 1 day a month. So now we're under contract on a house in Marengo, Illinois, which is quite a ways out, but he's on 2+ acres with this beautiful thing, a pool in the backyard, a koi pond, and he's $392,000. I mean, he's as happy as can be because his commute changed, right?
Yeah.
He's working from home. So I think it's going to give a lot more buyers a lot more options. And we just got to react as agents with technology and everything else to make those things happen.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jim, this has been extremely helpful, I know, for our listeners and our viewers here. So we really want to thank you for sharing all of your insight on COVID-19.
Absolutely.
A lot of tips, strategies that we can all keep in mind moving forward here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And now a word from our key mortgage loan officers for our weekly Mortgage Minute.
Hi, John Lewis here with Key Mortgage, providing the mortgage moment for July 1st. I've been in this industry for over 2 decades, and one common theme that never changes is the American dream of home ownership. And there's not a better time than now to explore that if you're possibly interested in buying a home. Interest rates are at historic low levels. This allows you to afford more home. It makes payments more manageable for you. But to take advantage of these interest rates, you need to be pre-approved. So that is important. So you can be pre-approved. We will go over your budget, and you will be armed with the necessary information to go out with your realtor and make an offer. In this environment, you need to have a solid pre-approval because there are multiple offers on some properties, and a strong pre-approval can set you apart from others. On a good note, IDA, the Illinois Housing Department Authority, has increased their income limits, so more people are able to qualify for IDA. I can answer questions for you at any time. I'm at 630-728-0066, or my email is john.lewis, Lewis, at mykeymortgage.com. Now, during this COVID, we support our local businesses. Key Mortgage is local, and we will be here for you day in and day out. So please reach out and let's get you pre-approved and get you shopping for a home.
Thanks again for joining us. I'm Christine Strauss.
And I'm Kevin Bartlett. Catch us next time to hear about The Real Deal.